There's rich, and then there's Phil Mickelson rich. But what most people don't know is that behind the trademark smile and iconic left-handed swing is a lifestyle so massive, so over the top, that even other athletes shake their heads. And the craziest part? Some of Phil's habits didn't just cost him millions, they nearly altered the course of his entire career. Because while most golfers imagine owning a dream home or maybe splurging on a new driver, Phil was quietly burning through fortunes on jets, mansions, cars, collectibles, and one high-stakes obsession that spiraled so far out of control that insiders still talk about it today. And the deeper you go, the more you realize Phil wasn't just living large, he was living on a completely different planet. Before the gambling stories, before LIV money entered the picture, Phil had one habit he refused to give up: flying private. And not the small, compact jets celebrities sometimes rent. Phil went straight for one of the most expensive personal aircraft on Earth, a Gulfstream 5. This wasn't a luxury. For Phil, it was a necessity. He believed commercial travel drained his energy and cost him precious performance. So he used the jet constantly. Tournaments, charity events, family trips, business meetings. The thing was practically a taxi service. Just one that cost tens of millions to purchase and over $1 million per year to operate. Crew salaries, fuel, maintenance, insurance, hangar space, every part of owning a Gulfstream is a punch to the wallet. Even after leasing the jet to his brother to cut down expenses, Phil reportedly kept using private flights anyway, sometimes chartering different planes on top of it. It became part of his identity. While other pros saved money by flying commercial on non-peak weeks, Phil wouldn't even consider it. His opponents saw flights as an expense. Phil saw them as an investment in staying ahead. But as big as the jet lifestyle was, it wasn't even close to the most expensive thing he owned, and certainly not the most costly habit he carried, because the hand that swung a golf club better than almost anyone was also reaching for something else, something far riskier. Phil treated real estate like most people treat golf gloves: buy, try, move on. One of his most famous homes was in Rancho Santa Fe, an estate that stretched over 20,000 square feet, complete with a full private golf area, resort-style amenities, and the kind of security usually reserved for billionaires. Then came his La Jolla property, sitting above the California coastline, perched like a king's throne overlooking the Pacific. Rumors swirled for years about hidden upgrades, private cinema rooms, high-end wine storage, custom gyms, and wellness suites. Phil never confirmed the specifics, which only made the speculation louder. And then whispers pointed to Jupiter Island in Florida, a place where Tiger Woods, Ricky Fowler, and the ultra-rich hide away. Phil was spotted there often enough that people assumed he was preparing a move. Some believed he left California not for scenery, but for tax reasons. Others thought it was simply because his lifestyle and his habits needed a quieter, more flexible home base. Each mansion came with massive taxes, utilities, staff, gardeners, chefs, security, maintenance crews. The list never ended. Yet Phil didn't blink. He had bigger things on his mind, and even bigger things draining his bank account. Because real estate was just the warm-up. The real spending was about to begin. If Phil liked something, he didn't want the cheap version. He wanted the rarest one in the world. He's known for having an elite car collection filled with high-performance vehicles and luxury cruisers. Reports of Ferraris, Bentleys, and fully customized SUVs sat in his garages. Many athletes collect cars for status. Phil collected them for pleasure. Then came the watches. Mickelson loves timepieces almost as much as he loves hitting bombs. Rolexes, Patek Philippe's, high-end chronographs, some costing as much as college tuition. His equipment habits were equally wild. Phil obsessed over his clubs to the point that Callaway made fully custom prototypes just for him. Some were rumored to cost tens of thousands each due to exotic materials and engineering. One-of-one wedges, experimental drivers, custom grind sets that no amateur could even order. But none of these luxuries even scratched the surface of what Phil was truly known for. Because behind closed doors, a totally different world existed. One filled with high stakes, high pressure, and outrageous sums of money moving in seconds. This is the part of Phil's story most athletes never want to touch because it wasn't a fun little hobby. It was a storm. For decades, rumors swirled about Phil's gambling. But in 2023, Billy Walters, the most famous sports bettor alive, published a book that put everything into the spotlight. Walters claimed Phil had wagered over $1 billion across 3 decades. Yes, billion. He said Phil once tried to place a $400,000 bet on the Ryder Cup, something Phil firmly denied. But Phil didn't deny the overall problem. In fact, Phil admitted publicly that he struggled, calling his habits reckless and embarrassing. Vegas insiders said he was a regular in the highest stakes rooms. Stories floated about tables where Phil won hundreds of thousands, and others where he lost just as fast. Not little bets, titanic wagers. ones that would make even the wealthiest gamblers sweat. People close to him said the thrill was irresistible. Phil loved risk. He loved pressure. On the course, it made him a legend. Off the course, it nearly consumed him. And as these losses piled up, something else quietly crept into the background. Something that made fans question whether Phil's biggest career decision was influenced by more than just competition. In 2022, Phil shocked the golf world by leaving the PGA Tour to join LIV Golf. But this wasn't just a contract. It was a seismic shift. A guaranteed deal rumored to be around $200 million landed in his lap. Fans debated the move. Was it for legacy, freedom, or for something else? Because suddenly, Phil's past gambling losses became part of the conversation. People wondered if the LIV contract was more than an opportunity. It was a rescue package, a reset button, a financial reboot he couldn't turn down. Phil never confirmed that money struggles influenced the decision, but even he acknowledged his gambling had put him in rough spots before, and a $200 million guarantee would solve almost any problem. Even the optics told a story. Phil went from a polished PGA veteran to a polarizing disruptor overnight. He disappeared for months, then reappeared visibly thinner, quieter, almost humbled. LIV didn't just change his schedule, it changed his public identity. But even with all this money, Phil didn't slow down his other expensive habits. In fact, he developed new ones. Some athletes collect sneakers. Phil collects wine. Not $40 bottles, not $400 bottles. Phil's wine collection is valued in the millions. Rare vintages, collector sets, impossible-to-find releases. He knows wine the way sommeliers know vineyards, and storing that much high-end wine requires professional-grade cooling systems, private cellars, and security. Then there's his health routine. Before LIV, before the controversies, Phil reinvented his body. He embraced wellness regimens that reportedly included elite-level doctors, personalized diets, supplements, advanced training programs, and private chefs he used during events. These weren't casual expenses. They cost more per month than most people's yearly salary. His transformation was so dramatic that fans speculated about what he was doing and how much he was spending. Phil insisted it was discipline. And sure, discipline was part of it. But discipline doesn't pay for a full-time culinary team, tailored nutrition plans, or cutting-edge health technology. Phil's annual personal upkeep cost more than some golfers make in tournaments. But even with all these expenses, Phil still had one habit that separated him from nearly every golfer alive. For all the talk about his spending, Phil is also one of golf's biggest givers. And that's another reason his finances moved like a roller coaster. Phil has donated tens of millions to charity. His Birdies for the Brave initiative supports military families. His exhibitions, appearances, and sponsorship events often funnel money directly into foundations. He covered tuition for students. He supported hospitals. He offered financial help quietly, without attention. During certain years, his charity output rivaled his personal luxuries. But charity giving on Phil's level isn't cheap. Large events, matching funds, organizational support, and private donations add up fast. Most athletes donate when they can. Phil donated constantly, and while generosity made him beloved, it also added weight to a financial life already stretched by jets, mansions, cars, wine, and gambling. Eventually, Phil realized something needed to change, and it did, just not in the way people expected. After years of living fast, Phil stepped back. He lost weight. He went quieter. He stopped bragging about spending, started acknowledging mistakes, and rebuilt his public image piece by piece. People close to him say he's more disciplined now, more focused, more aware. LIV gave him financial stability, time freedom, and a new sense of clarity. But one thing didn't change. Phil still lives big. He still flies private, still collects wine, still loves rare watches, still invests in real estate. The difference is that now he seems to control his habits instead of his habits controlling him. And yet, his story leaves one question hanging in the air. Did Phil Mickelson become a superstar because he lived on the edge? Or did living on the edge nearly cost him everything he earned? Maybe the truth is somewhere in the middle. Maybe the same fire that made him a legend also fueled a lifestyle no golfer will ever replicate. And maybe that's why Phil Mickelson remains one of the most fascinating figures in sports, because his victories were spectacular, but his vices were even bigger. In the end, Phil Mickelson didn't just spend money, he built a world around himself. A world of jets and mansions, cars and collectibles, wine and wellness programs, and, yes, staggering gambling losses. A world where success came with a price, and every habit told another story. Some of those habits made him great, others nearly ruined him, but all of them made him legendary. Thanks for watching, and if you want more deep dives into the wild lives of the world's wealthiest golfers, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss another story just like this one.